systems go. Clear for liftoff.
It's that time of the year. The Masters is here, the first major of the year. And as much as you've heard me talk about, and like as much as I want to keep a same process every week, every week is the same chance to make money. It's the Masters. It's special. No matter how you try to frame it, the guys who aren't watching golf are watching golf this week. Your uncle who you haven't talked to in 3 years is watching this event and asking you for your opinion because he knows you play golf DFS. So who that your friend from college who you talk to once a year is asking you to be in their Masters pool. There's going to be edges here in the Masters pools that I can definitely help you with. If you have any, I'll just lead with that. If you have any Masters pool questions, definitely shoot me a DM after the show, whenever, Instagram, Twitter, because I have had more success in those than like a lot of other things, because simply getting different there goes such a long way. But that's besides the point. We are here, Augusta National. Obviously, I am not on site this week. Wishing I was there. I got to spend a little bit of time there last year. Didn't work out logistically this year, but a little noting, I will be at Hilton Head for a day of boots next week. Few weeks off, but we're ready to get back into the swing of things. But we're not here to talk about next week. We're not here to talk about boots. We're here to talk about the Augusta National, the Masters, and everything in between. So let's bring my screen up. We will start with the Twitter thread, like we usually start with. Go over to Twitter, my X, whatever you want to call it, Matt_Gannon. Gave a like to the thread, a ton of useful information. Shout out Vincerix Golf for all of the data to make this into a thread. It's helped week in, week out. So we're here. The trends are a massive thing around Augusta National on a yearly basis. Everyone loves to see, okay, my golfer does this. If they don't check these boxes, they cannot win the Masters. And it's fun to look at. It's obviously doesn't always come through, but there's some that are more in tune than others. So the last few years, Augusta has really became an absolute bomber's paradise, a test of driving, not quite US Open where it's like, okay, like the bombers are going to go to the top, which the US Open has become that the last few years, but it's really showing that the golfers who are sending it off the tee are having such a massive advantage when it comes to the rest of their game. So recent winners, Scotty twice, Rahm and Rory, they combined 18 strokes plus off the tee. That is just under 5 strokes per winner on average over the last 4 years. That is a massive display of strokes gained off the tee over the last few years. Distance equals shorter clubs into the green, shorter clubs, more birdie chances, especially, and makes the par fives a lot more scoreable. It's not exactly bomb and gouge. I don't think anyone who's saying just pure distance is the key. I don't think anyone's saying that. You need to be long plus control. Just think how Scotty Scheffler usually is. He's always top 20 in distance, always top 20 in accuracy for the most part. That's the blueprint, kind of a positional bomber like we are looking at. So the approach is so huge in my opinion. And I thought after seeing Augusta last year, when I was there in person, that the iron play was the real separator. And although like it is, Rory had he led the field in approach last year, and he was his third best approach week of his career, but that came from the driver. He would not have been able to have those approach gains if he wasn't in position with the driver. Like even Jay Rose had a great approach week, an all-world putting week, but he simply couldn't gain that many strokes on approach because he wasn't in position. These green complexes, these shelves, you can only gain so many strokes on approach, and you cannot do it with middle irons or in long irons at a very high rate. The amount of wedges and shorter irons that these long distance guys are getting is the reason that they're able to separate on approach. So looking at their incoming approach spikes over their last 10 starts, Hideki spiked 3 times, Rory spiked 4 times, Rahm 4 times, and Scotty spiked 8 times. So we definitely need some incoming approach form to be able to predict who can have that approach gains in the given week. So around the greens is also a massive separator. The last 5 winners have gained a combined 25 strokes around the greens. This is where the tournament is won and lost. You have to have the distance, you have to have the approach skill, but if you're giving it all up around the greens, you're screwed. You're screwed. And you have to have the ability to gain around the greens. You don't need to gain 5 strokes per se around the greens. Some guys have done more than others, but you can clearly be the greatest ball striker and just absolutely lose it around the greens, making a double, a triple, just without even trying, without even realizing, and bang, you're out of the golf tournament. So you need it for sure. It shows up in form too. Schauffele had 9 out of 10 positive around the green events. Rahm, 8 out of 10. Hideki, 7 out of 10. And Rory was also good around the green that last year as well. So the full profile: elite driving, spike approach upside, elite around the green, and you need the major plus Augusta history. Putting is a question mark that everyone talks about around Augusta, but you don't need to necessarily have the spike putter at Augusta. You need to be viable with the putter. It's not like a tournament that's won on the greens. It could be lost on the greens. You could just miss everything. You can earn a yells it, but it is not necessarily the greatest indicator, the greatest separator. Some comp courses, if you want to talk about that kind of thing, on the screen: Murrayfield Village, Bay Hill, Sawgrass, Torrey Pines, and Riviera. They all reward the same thing: long, high-end ball striking. So there's a TLDR. Again, that's supposed to say shout out to Vincerix Golf for the data behind all of this. Full breakdown, player pool, and final plays over at Chip It Nation. You can use that code Vincerix also for 10% off this week. Want to look at some of the recent winners: Rory at 11, Scotty at 11, John Rahm at 12, Scotty at 10, Decky at 10, and then Dustin Johnson. We're not even going to talk about that. That was in November at 20. If you want my 2 cents on a winning score this year, I'll go with 12. I'll go with 12. I know it's going to be firmer. I know it's going to be a little faster, which can make it a little bit more difficult at times, but I can see someone winning at 12 and then a guy finishing runner-up at 8 or 9. Like I think someone's gonna have a good week this week and get to 12 under. No real reason or rationale behind that. Just kind of what my golfing brain is putting out this week. So I think 12 under wins this week. Use that for your pools if you want to. Let's look at some of the weather around Augusta National Golf Club this week. Sorry. So Thursday the 9th is where we start the golf tournament, and we don't have the 1 hour forecast yet. We don't have it we do have it for Thursday. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt. It is only Monday afternoon, but it's looking pretty calm, pretty cool. Like this, you can't really get much better weather at Augusta, can you? Like, I don't know if you can. It's looking like it's going to be blowing less than single digits with gusts up to 15, 20. Obviously, yeah, the gusts are going to be a factor, but these seem very sustainable, very predictable. So during the week, during the week leading up to Augusta, it's looking like it's going to be windy. It looks like it's going to be dry. It's going to be drying out the golf course. Cam Smith already said it was dry right now. And with these little bit higher winds on Tuesday and Wednesday than we're going to see in the tournament, I think that's going to lead to a fairly dry golf course, like we kind of said leading up to the event. So that's the weather this week. Looks like it's going to be no problem. Look like we're going to get all the rounds in on time. Looks like we're going to have a smooth Augusta with some beautiful visuals on TV. Let's talk some contests. We got some chances to make $1 million this week, guys. And anytime there's a chance to make $1 million, I think you should at least give it a shot. And we've had Ship It Nation members win $1 million, which I will get later. But as you can see, the $3.5 fantasy golf millionaire, $10 to enter. If you could turn $10 into $1 million, tell me how you did it. And obviously, we have the $100 contest, $100 entry, $150 max. Neither of these are really the greatest payout structure in the world, but they are lotteries, and I think you should definitely try to win $1 million if you have the chance, especially in a game where you kind of know there's a blueprint and you have some sort of edge. Like, I think you have more edge this than you do in the lottery, because even though it is a lottery, you can pick certain golfers that make sense. But in a real for someone who's only playing $10, for someone who doesn't play DFS ever and they're watching this for the first time because it is the Masters week, I really like this $5 single entry. Where was it? There was the 50K caddy. 50K caddy. Where did it better not be gone? Better not be gone. I'm gonna search it. There we go. This $5 single entry has a beautiful payout structure. And if you just want to put $5 into the Masters, are you going to beat 11,000 people and finish first? Probably not. But you could turn $5 into 100. That's a nice 20x. You could turn $5 into 200. That's a nice 40x. And the payout structure is fair. And you only you only beat 11,000, which is not impossible. But I just love how 5,000 gets to first place, 10th place gets 500. It's a nice payout structure. I think it's a very fair contest, and that's where I would be spending my little bit of dollars if I only wanted to spend $5, which I know some people will this week. But looking at some more contests, we have the 3-3-3-3, which I know some people have tickets for, and if they are playing in it, good luck. I love the where is it? Right here? This $1 million to first. So if you do have the ability to get in this contest, you only 1,600 people are, and this is a beautiful payout structure. 323 people get paid out. And $1 million up top. So if you do have the chance to get in this field, and I know some of you guys who are watching this video are, good luck to you. I really will be watching this lineup, this contest as much as possible and seeing who gets it done. But I'll be going in that small contest for the $5 for sure. Let's take a look at the DFS board while we were here. See if any golfers like really catch our eyes. Scotty leads the way. Roy at 11.6. Bryson at 10.2. And then Ram is at 10K. A little bit different DFS board than betting board, and there's definitely some interesting names, and all the way down to some names 61. I really don't think you need to touch anybody. Brian Campbell, like, it's just crazy that he's still playing these big events. You really don't have to go down here at all. Someone will make the cut at like 6K to 6.2, but it bleaks out quick. It really does bleak out quick, and that's a very normal for the Masters field. But someone that I wanted to look at the top of this DFS board is Xander Schauffele at $9,600. Xander Schauffele is coming in with some of the best form in how long? Maybe since he's won the majors. He's really finally hitting the ball well. He gained 1.5 plus 5, just under 7 strokes ball striking at his T4, coming off of a third place finish at Sawgrass, where he gained over 9 strokes ball striking. The putter is green, and we know, looking at his Masters course history, 3 straight top 10s. He's got 2 other top 3s. Augusta is a golf course that Xander Schauffele has played very, very well in his career. So at $9,600, when Scotty Scheffler's 14,000, it's a really good price, and it's a really, really high ceiling. So Xander is a golfer that I'm definitely high on. I wasn't even showing Xander. No, I was showing Xander. I'm definitely high on this week. So he's one golfer that I want to look at. Another golfer that I want to look at is a little bit down the board. He comes in at $8,400. That is our friend, our Masters merchant, Jordan Spieth. And I'm really no means a Jordan Spieth truther, a Jordan Spieth lover. I just think he's showing some good things. Jordan has now gained strokes on approach in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight events. Let's do some research and let's see the last time Jordan Spieth has gained strokes on approach in 5 straight events. We know how volatile Jordan Spieth is, so it's probably sometime. Let's see. Bear with me as I scroll down the greatest site, rickrungood.com, and see. Okay, found it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That came this time in 2023, and that led to a 4th place finish at Augusta National, a 2nd place finish at Harbortown, a 3rd place finish at Copperhead, a 4th place finish at Bay Hill. Jordan Spieth is coming in with similar form the last time he played really well, last time he almost won. And we haven't seen that result yet. So what that means, what that's telling me is that we could be nearing a Jordan Spieth top 5. And a Jordan Spieth top 5 at what's his price? It's right here. His price of $8,400. That will do you well. That will surely do you well. So I really love Jordan Spieth this week, and I can't remember the last time I've said that. So Jordan Spieth, $8,400, a golfer that I am definitely keeping an eye out. Here is the betting board. This is moving around very fast. Scotty Scheffler up to 485. That number is going to keep going higher. Drop your comment. What do you think Scotty Scheffler closes at on DraftKings? Then we see John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy. As I showed you the DFS board, this is definitely a little bit different than what we saw on the DFS board. So someone, and then we have Xander here, Cam Young, Tommy Fleetwood. I think it's a decent number on some of these guys. One guy that I want to take a look at down the DFS board, down the betting board, is Brooks Koepka. And if you know me, I'm not really much of a Brooks Koepka loyalist. I was young when Brooks Koepka was winning every single golf tournament, so I was not fully captivated by the Brooks mania. I was very aware of it, but I was not as tuned into every single golf shot like I have been the last 4 years. Now, so with that being said, I was never like, okay, I'm in on Brooks. It's a Brooks week, Now I kind of want to inquire. I kind of want to see look at that picture of Brooks also. Shout out Rick for putting that one up. It just make him look intimidating. Brooks Koepka, obviously coming off of a horrible week at the Houston Open, lost 5 strokes total, missed the cut. But before that, he was really finding his game. He had gained strokes on approach in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight events, and they weren't just partial gains. They were fairly marginal gains. And we know that Brooks lives for majors, lives for Augusta. Not necessarily, lives for Augusta. He wants to check that one off of his list. He missed the cut last year, but he's proven to play well around Augusta before. The around the green play is surely a concern at Augusta, and coming in the around the green play has not been great. But the ball striking, I'm not really worried about this one poor week at Memorial Park. I think Brooks has shown enough this year of obviously he got off that slow start at Torrey, Phoenix, whatever. Slow start. But he's really picked it up since the start of March, which was a really nice thing to see. I think he's in fine enough form to be a viable bet in the 40s, in the high 30s, because we know once he gets in the mix, once he gets in the weekend, he is going to turn it on and he will be there till the end. So Brooks Koepka at 40-1 is a golfer that I'm definitely taking a fair look at this week. Let's take a look at the site where you can make your. All right, I'll answer this question now because we're here. I see a question from Stewie in the chat. Thoughts on Bryson? I don't know how long you guys have been watching my content, but back when Bryson was Augusta's a par 67 for me, or Augusta's a par, whatever he said. The comment I'm talking about. Everyone was like, hell, that was the November Masters. I think he closed as the favorite around 9-1, something like that. I was so in on Bryson, and everyone was like, you're crazy. Bryson will never come close to winning a green jacket. I was like, when you think about it, Augusta kind of is a par 67 for Bryson with the ball flight he hits and the way he goes about the golf swing and the golf game. And I was fully in on Bryson at Augusta. I posted that meme of the guy from Tangled, where it's a bunch of swords pointing at him. It was what's one golf take that you're willing to die on? I was like, Bryson will play well at Augusta, will retire with a green jacket. I got so many impressions. Everyone was like, you're insane. Now, a few years later, everyone's like, oh my God, Bryson at Augusta. Yeah, he all he needs to do is figure it out over the weekend. He clearly makes so much sense for the golf course. So I kind of flipped my tune. I feel like I was an early pioneer of the Bryson at Augusta train, and now it's becoming very mainstream because he did it obviously before. Long-winded answer. This year at Augusta, he is one of the only players to come in with 2 wins, which has been a recent trend, and he cares more than anybody in the world, which is unquantifiable, and I think it's going to treat him well. Do I think he's going to win the green jacket this year? No. Do I think he's going to play decent golf and pay off his DFS price? Yes. That is my Bryson at Augusta take. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to play well again at Augusta. So that's my long-winded Bryson at Augusta take. Before we get into any other players, need to talk a little bit about the site, about what we have to offer this week at Chip Nation, because I believe our tools are second to none. And you can see this scroller at the top. You can get all of our content for free. There's a world where Tambo turns this off in 3 hours, but if you go on right now, use code BOOTS, every projection, every access to SaberSim, even baseball content will be free. You will get the stone. The stone is the almighty mecca of truth. This is obviously the rough draft, but give it a few days, give it a few hours. This will all be filled out. Every single bar. We call ourselves sweaty tryhards for a reason. We are sweaty tryhards here. Shout out to Big Man. Shout out Chip It Nation, because we thrive to put out the best content. And with these projections, these will probably be the last projections of any projection you see online to come out. And that is for a reason. We want our projections to be accurate. We want to know what the rest of the industry is doing. We want to know what talking heads, the greatest golf content creators, we want to know who they're talking about. Everything that you hear goes into this. Even myself, it all goes into these projections to give you the most accurate projections possible. You can get the slate plan. Hoop, Tambo, and myself will give out a slate plan, and I will give outright thoughts. Everything. You can get this all for free. ShipItNation.com. Use code BOOTS. Help me help you. And if you sign up today, tomorrow, you have a full week free. You're going to get Boots for next week at Hilton Head, which, if you don't know what Boots is, it is where I go out to the events and I basically report on every single golfer that I see. Every single golfer, plus course reports, everything that I see will be up there. So code BOOTS, try it for free, get every single sport. You can go right here to click the logo, join the nation. If you just want the golf, hit single sport, PGA plus optimizer. This middle package will get you everything you need to know. Will get you everything I just went through, plus SaberSim. If you want every single sport, all access plus optimizer ultimate. I mean, the tools are just unreal, and you can get it for free with code BOOTS. So use that, and then don't be shy to fly that flag and be a Ship It Nation. If you do fly the flag and you win, we've had $4 million winners. Not many. I don't know if any sites can say that they have had $4 million winners. If you do happen to win a million, the rich get richer, and you're going to get a free Rolex. You're going to get free access to everything for life. You're going to get some swag. And then the more you win 100K, you win 10K, which are very, very, very viable and doable. People do it every single day on our site. They get 1 free month to ship it. They get swag. And those free months, they parlay. They parlay into, okay, I won this month. Let's get rich again next month. So join us. Use code BOOTS. Fly that flag. All you got to do is click logos, pick one of these, and then fly it in the DraftKings pool. So long-winded. Use all of that stuff to join the site and help us grow. Help yourself become a better DFS player. So next thing I want to talk about is a chalky guy and a potential pivot, and then we'll get to some questions. So let's do it. Let's do it. Potential chalky guy. This is who I think is going to come in a lot higher owned than they should be, even though they might be a good play, could play well. Matt Fitzpatrick. Matt Fitzpatrick coming off of a runner-up and a win at the Valspar Championship, heads to the Masters off of two top 10s in a lot of tries. Now, is Matt Fitzpatrick playing really well? Yes. Is it obvious that he's playing really well? Yes. And is he a great price? Yes. Oh my God. All looks so easy. All makes so much sense for Matt Fitzpatrick. When Matt Fitzpatrick is getting super obvious and everyone's going to be on him, I am going to try to fade that. I don't think it's going to end up well for Fitzy, because yes, it's obvious. 1, 2, he only has down to go. He only can go down. You can't get better than runner-up win. You can't. I guess you can win again, but he's never done that before. I don't see it coming in the strongest field of the season so far. So I think Fitzy is a fade. He doesn't have the greatest Masters course history. The approach play has been bad the last 2 years. I know it's in good form now, but Masters approach is very different than every other course's approach. A lot of side hill lies, a lot of uphill, downhill lies. I think Fitzy is going to come in and have not the best week, not the week that everyone is going to think that he's going to have. So Matt Fitzpatrick is a fade for me this week. And that leads us to a potential pivot. A potential pivot down the board is $7,900 Russell Henley. Remember last year, Russell Henley was coming in off of the Bay Hill win. He was one of those trendy Augusta guys. He's obviously comes from Georgia. This year, it's not as great. He is coming in, losing strokes on approach in 4 or 5 events. I am not accounting for any of this at San Antonio. I truly think he missed the cut on purpose. I'm not even kidding. Like, you saw what happened at Valero last week. I don't know why he was there to begin with. And it looked like he was not trying to be there over the weekend. But his last start before that was a +4.5 ball striking week at Sawgrass. And looking at Augusta, he's got some decent course history. He was so chalky last year, kind of like Fitz this year, and ended up missing the cut. Now, Russ is a T4 at Augusta. Russ is a T15, T11. Decent course history around Augusta, and I think he's coming in at a great price and ownership that's going to be surrounded by golfers who are going to be inflated. So I think Russell Henley is going to be overlooked, and I think I don't think he's going to win the golf tournament, but at $7,900, he gives you plenty of top 10, top 5 equity to potentially be that difference maker in your lineup, win $1 million. So Russell Henley is one golfer that I think is a nice little pivot this week. And that finally brings us to the great segment, one golfer that I am on. So I do this every single week. It's the guy that I'm playing no matter what, no matter if they're like super owned, super chalky, if the ownership comes in different than we thought. It's one golfer that I am on, whether it's a bet, whether it's a DFS play. Here it is. Drum roll, do an imaginary one in your brain. Here we go. Collin Morikawa is the one golfer I am on. $9,500 might be a little bit high in terms of pricing if the pricing were to come out right now because of the withdrawals, because of the recent vibe around Collin. But Collin has been doing so many amazing things before he got that back injury at the Players' Championship. Collin has an amazing course history around Augusta. Not many people can say they've never lost strokes off the tee, never lost strokes on approach. Collin, I'm going to keep saying, if the Valero Texas Open wasn't the weather that it was, Collin would have played. He wouldn't have flown all the way to Texas, practice all week, if he wasn't going to play. And then the weather forecast got horrible. He was like, fuck this. Look, what am I doing? I'm going to get sick here. I'm going to go to Augusta. He had now 3 weeks off. Is it 2 or 3? Either way, plenty of time off to recover from the back. He's fine. I've talked to the guys at TGL. I talked to them a lot. They said Collin's been practicing. Collin's back in good spirits. If he really couldn't go at Augusta, he wouldn't play. He's not going to risk the rest of his career. So Collin Morikawa is back. Collin Morikawa is going to be underowned. If Collin Morikawa wasn't injured, if he just hadn't played, and we saw this form, everyone would be, he would be the chalkiest guy again. Now everyone's like, I don't want to mess with this Collin. Let's do it. Collin Morikawa, the one golfer that I am on. So hope you guys enjoyed. Let me see if there's any questions that I need to get to. I don't think we have any questions. As always, we're going to finish. Oh, no, we have to talk about the model. How could I forget? The model for the week. As always, I make a ton of models. I make 12 to 20 models and aggregate them into one. And look who's first in the model. And he's going to be first in so many models. He's going to be like, oh, my God, he's obvious. Matt Fitz. I think he's a fade this week. Number 2, this is Scotty Scheffler, not Adam Scott. Number 3, Ludwig. Tied for 4th, Colin and Rory. Tied for 6th, Cam Young and Minwoo. And then tied for 8th, Siwoo, Daniel Berger, and Xander Schauffele. It's about time that model kicks into gear. Brought us a winner at Houston. Didn't give us anything last week at the Valero. So that's the model for this week. And as always, the song of the day. Go if this is your first time listening. Yeah, we know we're doing the song of the day. I see that question in the chat. If you need the playlist, shoot me a DM because the song of the day playlist is get some action in the Ship It Nation community. The song of the day, From Me to You by Baby Metal. You're going to laugh when you listen to it, but it's part of the ethos of the pod. They just dropped their tour tickets today. So shout out Baby Metal. Shout out Poppy. Song of the day, From Me to You, Baby Metal. Any questions, you know where to find me. Ton of info this week. I'm going to be doing a ton of content. So follow me on Twitter if this is your first time. And as always, let's ship it. Catch you guys Thursday for the Showdown Show. Peace out.